And hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Matthew Quilliam and today we're looking at another instrument review. This time it's the Hricane, however you say that. I mean, you tell me. Hricane? Hricane? Hricane. Don't know. Hricane, I suppose. UK-23. Now this is an instrument that I believe is from a brand that primarily sells its instruments through Amazon. And the reason I bring that up, as well as because of the fancy name, is because I've actually seen a couple of different instruments all listed under UK-23. The label in here very clearly says, I don't know how well you can see, model number UK-23. Now I've seen instruments with different woods, different shapes, different sizes, all using that brand. So I'm going to take the name, both Hricane and the UK-23, with a pinch of salt. Starting at the top of the instrument, while the headstock is rather unremarkable, it does have the etched inlay there, laser cut inlay of the logo, which I suppose is alright. Decent tuners, these tuners are pretty reliable and they don't tend to slip that much. Coming down the neck, we've got a fairly reasonable neck. Nothing really much to say about it, to be honest, although there is this kind of blemish in the wood, so whilst it doesn't really make any difference to the playing, of course, it does say that sometimes their instruments might slip through with blemishes and knots in their wood, so perhaps they're not using the finest quality wood or quality control. I'm not sure about that. Maybe this is a one-off, I don't know. This is just the one I've received. And the fretboard as well, the frets are nice and smooth on the edge, and we've got plenty of them as well. We've got 15, 16, 17, 18 frets up here. Oddly, this position dot is placed on the 14th fret. Now normally they're on the 15th fret. Normally you have 5, 7, 10, 12 and 15. So I'm not sure why it's 14. I don't know if it's because it's trying to create a mirror image. You've got the 12 and then these two are evenly spaced either side of it. I'm not sure. But typically you'd want it on the 15th fret, so that's a bit strange. Speaking of the high frets though, we've got this partial cutaway, which is useful for getting up high and reaching these high notes. And then you've got quite a nice look on the front. I mean, it's pleasant. It doesn't, it's not ugly or anything, but it's nothing special either. Plain front and back and sides. It does have some nice binding as well, so it's not totally barren, as well as the little marking around the sound hole as well. So as you can probably tell, I'm not super enthusiastic about the looks, especially when compared to some of the more interesting looking instruments we've had on this channel in previous reviews. However, it does the job. It's a ukulele. It's not too bad, I suppose. It does the job, and it looks certainly nice, if apart from a few sort of minor things like that. The instrument's relatively lightweight and does come with a strap button on the bass, though no strap button anywhere else. If you're not going to be using a strap though, it's still nice and lightweight. It's not going to be dragging you or making your arms sore or anything. And it's a decent size as well. This is a concert, of course. And it does the job. It fits in the hands nicely. In terms of the projection, I think these strings are a little bit questionable. They seem like quite cheap strings. I'm not sure what they are, but they do seem a little bit tinny and sore. I don't know, they just seem a bit too jangly, a bit rough, with not really the refinement that you'd expect of Aquila strings, which are normally the strings that you find on sort of cheaper instruments like this. But if you were to put some nicer strings on, I think that would probably help improve the instrument somewhat. Another mark against the build quality as well is the fact that I can simply press against this cutaway and I can hear the wood creak. Don't know if that's coming across on camera, but it's certainly sort of moulding and moving, so that doesn't really strike much confidence in the build quality of the instrument either. Feels like the wood's quite flimsy all over actually. It does feel a little bit weak in some areas. So all in all, would I recommend this instrument? I'm not sure, is the answer. It's not a complete write-off because it does have some redeeming features. The neck and the overall sort of shape of the instrument is quite lightweight and it's very nicely carved and built. So I think it is comfortable to play, and if you had some nicer strings on it, then I think it would probably bring out a lot more of the instrument. Having said that, the build quality does feel a little bit shoddy, with some cheaper woods, and especially woods that I don't have to apply much pressure to, and in weaker areas it starts sort of cracking and moving about. Doesn't strike a lot of confidence. There's also a few little marks and dents here and there as well, and some blemishes on the wood, which suggests this isn't the highest quality wood and there isn't much quality control going into the instrument. Of course, none of these things affect the playability, although of course if it's a weaker instrument, then you don't want to be necessarily taking it about everywhere too much because it might get damaged. And as I mentioned at the start of the review, this ukulele, the UK-23, is sold under different names. The UK-23 is applied to various different instruments, and so I think there's some sort of duplication of names going on. But what are your thoughts? Do let me know in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed to catch the next ukulele review here on my channel. Thanks very much, take care.